Okay. So what's the date today? I don't know. June. June something. Do you see what I'm doing here? Amari's side dish at the hospital. Yeah. Try and blend them up some fruit here. I bought a new one of this one. I don't like this one because look what happens. You can take it out. Well, maybe it's locked in now. Yeah, I don't like that. No. So, I bought 2 of them. And, I don't know. I washed it. But I don't like the way it smells. I don't know. You pay good money for these things, right? They're little blenders. Not supposed to be smelling. You smell the metal. I don't like that. Now, mind you, it's new, but still. Apparently, Amari was having a blast last night. Getting loud and oh my god. This is now going the wrong way. I want paper towel. Oh, okay. Yeah, where am I? He was, he's being his happy, loud self. Right, Amari? Hey? Were you being your loud, happy self? Yeah. Tisha had to turn off the light. I told her no, you know, he slept. Of course he's gonna be full of energy. Whatever. Well, he has to learn. Oh my god. See? Of course I get a room with no bloody paper towels in it. Isn't that just lovely? What the hell? I have to fix that. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just starting our day. This ripened. These things are so hard to ripen. I haven't played. Yeah, so hard to ripen. So I'm just gonna grind them up a little bit of fruit. For now. That is nice. Look how nice this is. I forgot already what this is called. They're expensive. I don't necessarily like to buy it too much because it's hard to ripen. And because it's so expensive, you know, and waste money, right? But I thought I'd take a chance and I put it in a different spot where maybe it would ripen without molding and all that stupid crap. On the outside, you know how that happens with fruit, right? And it seems to be okay. So that's what I'm doing right now with Mari. So Amari's side dish at the hospital. This is, what is it called? I can't remember what it's called. So stressed out with everything. I brought Amari's frying pan. It's right there. They'll come in and what's that? I'll say, well, that's Amari's frying pan. That's what we're going to build around. Yeah. You want to help me? Help me fill up the frying pan. Yeah. Make it make sense with the frying pan. Yeah. You don't believe that I didn't bring it? Or I brought it? Where is it? Where is it? Where's that frying pan? See? Okay. Where am I? There we go. And then, oh boy, no paper towels. Oh my lord. Okay. See, even this you have to grind up, right? These seeds are edible. See, I don't know. I can... The middle is not... I don't like the smell of this. I washed it. Maybe because it's new. Yeah. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm not impressed with this one. These are hard to find. You can only find these on Amazon. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to turn off this camera. Oh yeah, I forgot to bring the charger. Oh joy. Okay, Amari, so now we're getting the EEG. I think that's what it's called, huh?
Beg your pardon? Let me know if you need any. Sure.
EGG? That's
I'm
where
gonna
they
get an extra chair for you because I gotta
put
sit
all
back
these
there,
little
so I'm sitting.
things on your head.
Go look for one.
You've been here once before. Yeah. So this is the second time. I don't remember when you did it before, but anyway, he's been laughing and giggling and kicking up a storm, and everybody's saying, "What a happy little guy." Hey?
Thanks.
Right now, he's just being a camera ham. Are you just being a camera ham? Yeah.
Didn't know he had a giant nose. He must have a serious cold. I never knew a monkey like that even existed. He doesn't have a cold, Jimmy. Proboscis monkeys have the biggest nose of any monkey. Doesn't seem real, but let's try it. It's cool.
I'm gonna try and get this back underneath just because then the back electrodes get.
What is that nose all about?
There we go. Thanks.
One thing's for sure, that nose doesn't slow you down. Follow that monkey's nose. You proboscis monkeys are good in the trees. Looks like there are 8 monkeys in this group, and Schnauzel is the only adult male. Everybody else is a female or kid monkey. Look, like this nosy young guy. Hey, wait up, nosy. Not so fast, Schnauzel. Woohoo! Woohoo! Ha-ha! Ah! Oh! Ah! Whoa! Woo! Did you catch that move, Schnauzel? Let's go!
Hey, little sweetie. What's this one?
Chris?
Something for you to bite.
You find this pretty funny.
I think it's pretty good looking.
So now you're done. You're done your EGG. EEG?
Yeah,
EEG.
I can turn this off now.
Is that?
I can turn that one off.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, now we go for a long walk. Just what I'm trying to record here. Mr. Happy. That's what I'm trying to record here. Is him being Mr. Happy. Yeah. There we go. Will the real Amari please stand up? Will the real Amari please stand up? Are you a comedian? Are you being a comedian? Yeah?
I'll take this.
Yeah. Everybody's getting to notice how active he really is. Yeah. Like, oh my, he's so active. Oh yeah.
First floor.
Yeah. Then we go for a walk.
Going down.
Okay.
So I can move it.
This battery is going to end soon, so I didn't bring my charger with me. I totally forgot. He's been really good with all the workers. Yeah, he was a little fussy inside the EEG with the hair. He doesn't like his hair being touched, but other than that, he's been really good. He's been really copacetic with these people. Yeah, putting up with them really well. I'm proud of you, Amari. Been doing good. For the most part, he's been really happy. And then when he squawks, it's just a little bit of a squawk. Look, he's trying to sit up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but he's a Houdini baby, and not only can he sit up, but he can fly off somewhere yet, too. Yeah.
Better?
They don't understand. He can flip himself around real fast. They don't know Amari like I know Amari. See, he got his hand on the rail. That's all it takes for him to pick himself up, sit up, and then flip himself over. Oh, yeah. And if his legs are in the right kind of position, which everybody doesn't like, he can stand up on them in terms of like his knees.
Can you wait, Mike, please?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so today's the 18th. Back home from the hospital. Amari's home. But I gotta get on with this stuff that was in the freezer. Now this is bacon. Right? Okay, throw it out! And I'm like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about, man, when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, seriously, man. This isn't like just little bits and pieces, can you see? That's back in the day when we used to be able to buy a box that was cheap because they were just bacon ends. That's what they called them, bacon ends. Obviously, I freezed it. Right? Is Mari sleeping? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So as you're doing, he's going to go get me some more jars. And as he's going to go get me some more jars, I'm canning up whatever's good. Okay, because it's been nice and cold in the fridge. Vacuum sealed. Vacuum sealing always helps. Right now, I don't got time. I'm not going to degrease it because, you know, we want the grease. Okay, I mean, it is what it is. Okay, it's if a jar pops because of the grease, well, you'll deal with it then. But not every jar is going to pop. If you, as long as you don't pack them too full, right, they should be fine. And yeah, Andre's, sure, get more on the floor than in the jar. Andre, it smells really good. It smells like bacon, right? And we're on the farm. Just that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, and I can't smell it because I don't have smell bush right now.
Okay, well it smells really good. Trust me. I wouldn't can anything that's no good. Okay, that's not my style. And when you're on the farm, it's one of those situations where it's waste not, want not. right? And because they're vacuum sealed, nice and cold, they're good. And obviously, you know, you can use these in after it's cooked and everything, the grease is going to separate a bit, right? The lard, yeah. Thank you very much, Andre. The lard is going to separate, but there's also bacon in here, right? If I degrease it a little bit, even half or whatever, you know, by the time, you know, then I have to muck around with more jars, and it's not, you know, we're going to try it this way, okay? That's what we're going to do. And then I got a little bit of liver there. See how that's holding up. If that's holding up good, beef liver. Because it's beef, I'm not too worried about it. I'll can that. And there seems to be something else there. Because a lot actually did get chucked out, right? I mean, like, what can I do, right, people? You know, I didn't get home from the hospital until yesterday in the, like around 7 or 8, something like that. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So we were there. I was there for a day and a half. Yeah. I slept a lot. I slept with Amari. Amari played. I slept on his bed with him. Tisha did the night shift. Then I came home and, you know, was there all day. I fell asleep in a chair when he was in an emergency room because, you know, he was there for quite a long time. And so I slept in a chair there, and then they moved him upstairs because they wanted to do an EEG and, you know, blood work and yada yada yada. So and then when they moved him upstairs, I went upstairs, and then Tisha showed up. And then she stayed with him for the night, but I had to get back to the hospital by 6 in the morning. So I went to the hospital at 6 in the morning. I got home here at, I don't know, midnight. Left at 6. Went to sleep at, I don't know. I only slept for a couple of hours. Went back to the hospital. Amari, the whole time he was awake, was just chatting up a storm. He was chatting up a storm with Tisha. Tisha had to lay down with him to try and get him to go to sleep because he was hollering at the top of his lungs, having a blast, playing at freaking 2 o'clock in the morning. I think those people were very surprised to see how energetic Amari really is. Right? For as skinny as he is, he's a non-stop, ever-ready battery that just keeps on going and going and going. I'm like, welcome to my world. He's sleeping right now, though, because, you know, he was up earlier, right? Oh, yeah. I think that's what saved us. If he would have been lethargic, not moving around, then maybe they'd be even more worried about it but he was just way too freaking chatty, playful, active, being a little goofball, just the whole 9 yards. He was loving the attention, actually, quite a bit, really. So it got me thinking, right? You know, like, because, you know, you go through the team, right? Actually, they were very nice to me. They didn't bum rush me and swarm me like the good old days where I get so overwhelmed with shit, right? And what do you call it? Still in the bed. Where they, you know, they approached me one by one, kind of, and really it wasn't that many, right? And Yeah, anyway. It wasn't so bad. But just, I was watching him, the way he was responding with them. Right? As, you know, the nurses and whoever, doctor, whoever, right? Even when they were giving him a blood test. You know, how he was responding. Just how he was responding with the EGG or EEG, I think it's called. And he actually did really well with coming into contact with the number of people that he did. And he was communicative with the majority of them. He let them know what he was thinking. Yeah. And for the most part, he didn't mind them. He really didn't. Yeah. So, that got me to thinking, you know, maybe in the future, not right now, but maybe in the future, maybe I'll, I don't know. It makes me nervous because it just does, but maybe I'll make inquiries about putting him into school for a couple days a week, just half days or something. I'll see what my options are. Right? That makes me nervous though, because, you know, then other people are picking him up and moving him, and, you know, and if he comes home crying and he's, you know, it can get, there's a big piece right there, right? It can get, food is expensive, man. People are like, there's a TikTok video that I was watching about the cost of food in different parts of wherever. And some of these places where people live, man, it's like completely out of control. Oh yeah. Completely out of control, you know? Like I don't want to spend money if I don't have to. Pretty much these days, like I said, before Rhea did what Rhea did, I was at the end of, I didn't really need to buy that much, you know, because I've been doing the food prep and stuff. Obviously, after Rhea, though, I had to kind of just top off what she took, right? Otherwise, I would never feel satisfied, eh? Always feel cheated and lost out on something, or vulnerable. Who knows what I'm feeling when I'm doing this stuff, but to me, it's worth it. Especially when I'm watching other people struggle and are scared with what's going on. Of course, I'm scared about the housing crises because, you know, gonna lose everything if you can't find a place to take it to, right? Or if people don't want you to have it, they're gonna try and take it away from you so they can have it. I have to go get some more jars. And you don't want to overpack it, right? You don't want to pack it too high. And this is good. So hold on a minute. Okay, so for me, it's worth it. That's 15 jars of bacon. Yeah, it smells really good. Yeah, the jars, I bought 2 more cases of these salmon-sized jars, $55, man. But you have to look at it like this. Once you have them, you have them. And with companies doing their shrinkflation and their, you know, like cutting back on the you know, like you buy a chunky beef chunky stew, and you only got 3 pieces of mechanically pressed beef. Everything else is potatoes and a few carrots and a little bit of corn. At least in your jar, after you can it, you know what's in it, right? Like, you want beef, you're gonna put beef in it, right? You don't have to worry about shrinkflation, none of that crap. And you have to remember, this food is older, so it's not as polluted like it is now. right? I'm just shaking off the water. I like to wash everything. They're all brand new. Now I'm going to see, I got 2 other things in there that are quote unquote a meat product. I know one is a beef liver. I don't know what the other one is, I can't remember. And I have kale too, right? And the zucchini. I might even try the frozen zucchini, I might. I'm running out of jars. It's hard to, no jars. I wanted 500 ml. I couldn't get 500 ml. And I couldn't even get them from Walmart. And what I could get, I had to wait until June 2nd to get it. They were going to deliver it. That's crazy. But I like these jars, so I don't mind them. Just make sure you don't too tight, right? Because if they can't vent, then they explode in the canner. Well, they don't explode, they just crack. So anyway, I'm happy. I actually told Andre to throw it out when I was at the hospital. I was so disgusted with everything, but I'm glad he didn't. Because it's fine, it's good. Martine, oh, but it doesn't look like bacon. It's brown. Well, yeah, because it's frozen. Bacon changes color with the nitrates when it freezes, right? Yeah. 15 jars. Well, that's okay. With about a 1-inch headspace. And you can use it for beans, whatever, right? Yeah, we're on the farm. That's 15 meals that I can make with this stuff. Plus, depending on what I'm doing. Oh, I don't know. Even they're making their rims not that good. There's something wrong with that rim. Yeah. Here's the rim. Already cleaned the jars with vinegar. Oh boy. Maybe the camera's gonna blink out, eh? So I guess we'll come back. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I got them in there, right? Yeah. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna put the liver at about 15 bucks. I'm just gonna use this because I'm too busy to be looking for salt right now. So this is like a little hodgepodge of seasonings. I like this because it's such a small little thing. I'm just putting that in there. Now technically you don't need to put water in this, but I'm going to put a little bit. Just a little bit of water. Because otherwise it probably won't be enough. In terms of, I like to have more liquid covering my meats versus, you know, some of it out of the liquid because you're just relying on, okay. So I got 2, 4, 6, 8. And this canner is filling up fast. Yeah. So I'm going to have to do the kale later. And I will do them in Simon-sized jars as well. Okay. So where's my rag with the vinegar? That's not it. I have to smell it. Right? Where did you go? It's a big one. It's got lots of vinegar on it. Oh, where did I go with it? Oh my lord, I don't see it. Well, not that I could see, but well, I don't got time to be fooling around. And then I've got something else in there, so I'm going to see how many jars I can fit left. And then I've got something else there. I'm not sure what it is because I can't see. Andre got stung by a black and white hornet that comes from the ground. Yeah, and now his bump is turning slightly green, white and green. So he phoned up Tisha. Just got to keep an eye on that because that could be a problem. So maybe Andre might be going to emergency yet. All right, he did that when he went to go feed the cat, and he was walking past on the side of the house, and it flew out from underneath the ground. I used to come into contact with those things all the time. I don't like this yard because you never know when you're going to run into a band of hornets that nested in something somewhere. I have to be careful. I got stung by 14 hornets one time. It was awful. I was so itchy from my top of my head to the bottom of my feet and everywhere else, over my whole body. And now I gotta be careful that I don't get stung too much because apparently I could die from it, I suppose. That's what I've been told. Whether I die or not remains to be seen, but you have a higher probability because you've already been stung. And over the years I get stung, especially when I was working in this yard. They come out of nowhere and sting me on my legs, attach themselves to my pants, and wouldn't stop. So I've been stung a few times. Okay, now I'm going to wash these lids, get them in the canner, and then we're going to see how many jars more we can put in there. And then we're going to do a 70-minute dance, and then we're going to take them out of the canner as we wash these jars, which I'm really impressed with, to be honest with you. I like this. I'll get them ready to be put away, but hold on. Okay, so I'm finally getting to use this. I love this little frying pan. You don't even know. It is so cute.
Self-employed in Canada?
And boy, does it ever heat up nice. So far we've got one little carrot in there, one little sweet potato, a little bit of barley, just a little less than that, right? So there's barley in there. And then we've got the red lentils, right? You can see the barley floating around in there. And then I got some just miscellaneous bags of leftover that haven't been put into jars and that kind of stuff, right? Where's this? Oh my God. I'm cooking in here too. And then I'm going to do, I don't know, I might use amaranth to thicken it up a little bit. Not too sure how it tastes. I got little potato flakes here, right? This is just miscellaneous stuff in bags right now. I already like this little frying pan. So
Sharon was a dedicated volunteer, and Daryl loved participating in social
check
activities.
these lentils.
Staying active and spending time with their
You gotta
new
look for
friends
rocks
their
and
beloved
stuff,
pet
right?
Ash.
Good luck.
Daryl and Sharon were always
I have to
eager
take my
to
time.
help when
You notice I
friends
do
or family
contrast,
were
eh?
in need. But on December 30th,
As if I can
2022,
see.
at 3 p.m., a woman
But if I
described
go
as
slow,
wearing a very unique outfit,
I should
who
be
was
able
not
to
a
see.
resident at Waterman Village, was spotted by security and
So,
escorted off
let me
the
work on
premises
that,
through a
right?
rear entrance since her access was not authorized. At 4:14 p.m., surveillance footage captures.
Okay, so now I'm going to open up this ground turkey, September 14th of 2023. And this is nicely cooked. I've decided that I want the 10-inch. This is an 8-inch. I like it, but for what I'm doing right now, it's a little too small. So I think I'm going to have to use 2 of these or whatever, depending on what I'm doing. That's what I mean. You need a functioning kitchen. Okay? Just saying. But besides that point, all right, so now we've got organic barley. We've got organic red lentils, which is easy to digest. We've got sweet potato. We've got carrot. Okay. Now those beans that I sprouted and the peas, they're in the fridge, but I'm not dealing with them right now because, you know, maybe tomorrow we'll see. Now I bought this little thing. Honestly, I don't know how to use it. I guess it goes like that. Alright, let's see. You heard it? I heard it pop. Okay. Smells like turkey. You can see what's going on there. Alright, so now we're going to put it in the pot. My canning session is over. I still have kale. 70 minutes, so I'm going to go out into the yard. I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight. I might. Just because I want to get it over with, right? And then I've got the raspberries I still have to finish from the freezer. Plus, Andre's going to pick raspberries because they're starting to come now. So this we're going to just put into this pan as is. Okay? And then I'm going to break up the turkey. And I'm going to add a bit more liquid in here. Alright. You have to bring it to a boil for 10 minutes. Like bring it to a boil and then turn it down to a low boil. And keep it like that for 10 minutes. So I'm going to spread this around. Yeah, this pan is a little bit too small. So I'm going to try the 10-inch. Right? You know, it takes time to figure these things out, eh? And then we're going to put some extra water in this. Find some. That's not enough. Oh boy. Nothing's ever easy. Here, I got water right here. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a 10-inch for this. That was just one small carrot, one small freaking, what is that called? Sweet potato, a little strainer full of barley, a little strainer full of lentils, and this. And it's basically taking up the whole pan. And if anything, it looks like it's going to overflow. Oh my God. I was going to take out, that's not going to work. Oh my Lord, I just made it worse on myself. I was going to take out some of the sweet potato and all that, and I should have done that. Because now the pan is too small. And that is why we want a nice 10-inch. Because maybe a 10-inch would have been just perfect. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just empty it into a regular pot. And of course the handle is hot. It's the first time I've used this little pan. I really like it because you can cook things on low. Right? Okay, that's it. And it's got a little pour snout on it, so that's good. So I'll put that there. See how that works. Because I have to bring the turkey up to boil, right? And then just kind of boil it for a little while. And then we're going to cool it. And then we're going to blend it all up at one time. And then we're going to give them a fair-sized portion with some yogurt. Yeah. Okay. So as I go about my days with this stuff, I will get it figured out in terms of how much a pan can hold, and then eventually I'm going to end up doing by cup and by weight to start adding up the calories within the pan, divide by how many meals, right? Okay, it's going to need a bit more water though, so I'm going to get a bit more water. Guess what I did? I put the blueberries away. I know where I put the big jars, but I don't know where I put the little jars. Yeah. My jars in the pint-sized jars of the blueberry, do you think I can find that in my room? I put them in there like, I don't know, 2 days ago. I don't know where I put them. I can't find them. I was going to count them because I'm kind of tallying up. So we're just going to put that like that because we have to bring it to a boil, and then after it's boiling, we turn it down and we simmer it for 10 minutes. Right? Now it's too soupy. Now it's too soupy. So, in that situation, oh, I haven't put the potatoes in yet. Where's the potatoes? I have potatoes here. Dehydrated potatoes. So I'm going to put in a little bit of dehydrated potatoes. Just a handful, just like that. Okay. It's not so bad. I'm actually enjoying myself experimenting with this. I just wish I had a better kitchen. Life would be, I could do more. It would be better. And of course I wish I had better eyesight, but as it is what it is. Alright, so we're going to stir those potatoes in there. And then I have this as a vegetable stock, soup base, vegetable soup base. So we're just going to put a little bit of that in there for some flavor. Right? It's good. If we need more, we'll put more. I'm not going to put in the amaranth per se, as I would, after it comes to a boil, and then put the lid on, bring it to a boil, put the lid on, and then turn it down and cook it for a low, right? For low boil for 10 minutes for the turkey, and then see where you're at with the liquid. And if you have to, you can take the lid off and just let it evaporate a little bit to get it to the point where you can, puree it, right? Otherwise, I think amaranth takes about 20 minutes to cook. I mean, I could put the amaranth in there, but we already got the barley and whatnot, so we're just going to bring this up to a boil and do it like that. So if I would have had a 10-inch pan, based on what I just did, it probably would have been okay. So I think I'm going to order a 10-inch pan at some point in the future. An enamel cast iron. Yeah. So I'm going to end this video here in a minute. Because of whatever, right? So the blueberries, I had one quart size, so that's 2 pints, we'll say. I'm pretty sure I think I had six or seven I'll just say 6 jars of pint-sized blueberries. So 6, 7, 8. So we'll say 8 jars of blueberries that I rescued from the freezer. Times, I'm going to put it at $5.99 a pint. $5.99 a pint or a pound, right? So at times 6. So what is that? 48, right? 12 and 12 is, oh my lord. 12 and 12 is $24, $48. Yeah. Approximately. Okay, so far what I've done in terms of canning, and yeah. Okay, so tomatoes, I did about $90 worth of tomatoes that were frozen, right? Blueberries, I did another $48 frozen. Blackberries, because I got a fair amount of jars, $50 if you had to buy it in the store. Kale, 14 times 7 at $7 a jar, 14 jars. And that's kale, beet leaves, and Swiss chard, right? And those are nice full. These are full, people. These, okay? All right. So I'm going to put them at $7 a jar. So that comes in at 98. The liver, I rounded it off at maybe $15. The pork and the pork sausage, because that was there, $15. And the bacon at $25. Okay? I don't know what that's adding up to be right now, but we're pushing $300 right now. And then we've got the kale, a little bit left over still that's in the fridge, which at some point I'm going to go outside and grab some of those leaves. Probably do it tomorrow because I'm already tired, right? And I'm going to cook up some of that marrow leaf and jar them up in 250 ml jars as well with the stems, but you have to prepare it, right? So when I do that, that will be the next video, right? So we'll have the leftover kale in 250 ml jars plus the marrow plant in the outside that's growing, because it's free food. And if it cans nice and I like it, then for sure I'll make sure I'll go out of my way to do that more often. And then of course we've got the raspberries, which I don't know how many jars I'm going to get out of that pot that I cooked up that were frozen, but it will be a fair amount in terms of 250 mils, right? So, you know, what did I say? 3. So by the time I'm done, oh, I don't know, $350, $400. I had to spend $54. Well, no, that's not true. I bought jars 2 times for this. Oh, see, look. I'm not paying attention. Okay, so now that it's boiling, that's fine. It's already sticking in the pot. I don't like that. So I'm going to turn it down. Smells good. It's nutritional. Don't ask me what the calorie count is because I don't know. That's a different date. Alright, I'm just experimenting. Now if I wanted to, honestly, I could crack an egg in here. I could. Just to give it that little extra protein and calories. But we'll do the egg with, maybe we'll try that pan with something else. Like, you know, like make an omelet where it's specially made for Amari and can be broken up into 4 parts. Right? Because that's kind of like how I'm trying to see that pan is 4 different meals. Right? Or feedings. Right? Okay, so now I'm going to put the lid on it. We don't want it to burn. So, you listen for it to boil. So yeah, that's... If you want to thicken something, you can use amaranth, right? These are things that haven't gone into jars and stuff, so I'm using up that stuff first. Okay, don't open the lid. Once you put the lid on, you know, just leave it, right? And you can turn it down and you listen. Yeah, you listen. As long as you hear it boiling, and it's like sticking already to this pan. I don't like that. I noticed nothing stuck. It was cooking in the enamel cast iron and nothing stuck, but this one's already starting to stick in. Okay, so I turned it down. It's for now it's on 1, but it's going like this, right? You can hear it. And then after I'm done, I'm going to taste it. I'm going to give them a little bit of seaweed, sea vegetables for the iodine and the minerals and that kind of stuff, right? And if I have to, I can always add in a little extra of that. And that will be it. And then I'm going to let it cool. And then I'm going to blend it up in that blender. I don't have a lot of room in my fridge. This is where you need a second fridge, because in this situation, I'd like to break it up into 4 equal parts into individual bowls. I would never use a microwave to heat it up because microwaves change the molecules of food. But, you know, you could heat it up in a little pot after the fact or whatever. But for now, I'm just going to blend it up and guesstimate, right? So, I like that little pan. It was nice to work with that, but it was just, I think, you know, when you have the 2 pans going and you're cooking 2 different types of meals, like I think that little pan would be good to do an egg omelet of some kind where you can just blend that all up and put it in its own bowl, and the other 10-inch could be more for this kind of stuff, right? So that's the end of this video. Boy, oh boy. When I was at the hospital, I slept a lot. I crawled up on the bed with Amari and slept with Amari. I don't know how much he slept. He was the class clown, keeping everybody on their toes with his antics. Yeah. But I'm sure he slept with me too, because he likes to sleep beside me, right? And I'm glad I did, because I had energy. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. Got into a great big argument with Andre because whatever, and I ended up, like, I got up and he was awake at 4, and I got angry and he went to sleep, and then I took away the cords for the computer because I've been warning him I'm going to ground him for certain things, and I've been warning, and nothing's changing, so finally I took the cords away, and boy, it was a bloody argument for a freaking hour. And I was phoning Marcane and he wasn't answering, but I was just leaving, you know, letting it listen, right? You know, just, right? So that, and then he calls me up. And like, you know, Marcane doesn't understand that, you know, his bullshit antics, the way he talks to me and stuff like that. Andre now thinks he can talk to me like that, people. Oh, yeah. It's stupid. Completely stupid. So I turned up the heat just a little bit because you kind of want that boil, right? But whatever you do, don't take off the lid. That's the secret. Just don't take off the lid. You don't want to burn it though, right? So, alright, anyway, that's it for this video, and then I guess tomorrow, I don't think I'm going to do it tonight because my back is starting to hurt. And I got to find a home for these things. I don't know. I lost the blueberries. Don't ask me where how could you forget where you put 6, 7 jars of blueberries? As if I got a lot of room in my room, which I don't. I don't even know where I'm going to put this crap. But you know what? We're just going to round it off at $400, okay, on the expensive side of things, between $350 and $400. that's a lot of money. Even though I had to buy jars, that's okay, because after that, I don't need no jars. You use them, right? So years ago, when Amari was little, and I'll end it on this note, because I don't want to buy no more jars, but this was special circumstances. I had jars in the house, I used them, and I bought $160 or so of jars. Tisha went and got me 4 cases, and I still have the 2, this type, right, which I'm going to do the raspberries in, and whatever, and the rest of the, okay, whatever. And I've got, what do I got here? I've only got a few of these left. Andre had to go get me 2 of these cases today. That was $55. That's what's expensive, because I bought 4 cases of those. Right? Yeah, I think so. I still have 1 case I haven't used. Yeah. I bought 4 cases and I used 2.5 so far. So I have a little bit left over for the marrow root, or the marrow leaf, and the kale. And I've got these sizes for the raspberries. And I'm done. And now downstairs, years ago when Amari was a baby, I canned up little meals, thinking, right, with peas and meat and carrot and yada yada yada, broth, right? They've been sitting down there for years, okay? And I need jars. Well, guess what? You're going to go downstairs and you're going to scoop up on a few of them, and you're going to start using them with what you're doing here, right? And then, you know, stack up your jars for when you need them. The only thing is, I'm going blind, and nobody appreciates really what I do. Andre somewhat appreciates it, because when I cook it up and we eat it, he really likes it, and so do I. And so does Amari. Amari really likes it too. But as for everybody else, whatever. How's it doing? Yeah. So maybe you might want to just shake your pan just a little bit. Don't lift the lid open though, right? So I still got another 2 more minutes or so. Okay? Alrighty-o. Well, I suppose you'd want to see it. So maybe what I'll do is I'll let it cool down, I'll grind it up, and then that's how we'll end the video on Amari's dinner. That tomorrow morning, and you see, this is how I want to do it. Tomorrow morning, to have that, because it's got the meat in it. Turkey's easy to digest. And then towards, you know, halfway through the day, he gets the other half. So I want him to get meat 2 times a day. At some point in the morning, I don't care what time, but as long as the first meal, right? And then however long later. But you know, it's easy to feed, and then it gets to the point where they gave me these to try out, 3 cans to see, it has more fiber in it, so it's supposed to not clog them up so much. They're suggesting maybe 1 to 2 times a day, but first just start with a 1/4 can, the next day, you know, another half a can or whatever, and then the rest, and then eventually to a half a can, and then maybe 1 full can. But I have to use the laxatives. So I don't know. I said I try it out, right? We'll see. I have, you know, prunes and stuff. As long as he's eating food, I can see maybe 1 a day, just to it has a little bit more calories than milk. Not much though, really, when you think about it. That's how they justify it. Anyway, let me come back after this is grounded up. Okay, change of plans. I put too much water in that. Because I can't see, right, people? That's why. So I have two choices. I can either boil it down, or I can use, I'm pretty sure this is amaranth. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. I can use amaranth as a thickener. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that is. I can use the amaranth as a thickener. So I'm going to do that. You have to rinse it off though, right? And yes, it's organic. So we're going to put a little bit of amaranth in there. Maybe about that much as a thickener. So that means I have to cook it for about another 20 more minutes. Because it takes about 20 minutes or so. People put amaranth into their oatmeal and stuff, right? You know, like I could cook up amaranth by itself and then let it cool, make an omelet, put the amaranth in there that's already pre-cooked, and then it's full of nutrients, okay? And it's already pre-cooked, and put it into the omelet with the eggs raw, with something else, I don't know what yet, you know, a variety of different things here and there, whenever, right? And then blend it all up together, so, you know, it's even more calories and more nutrients, okay? This is how we're gonna get, you know, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Could be, what have you been doing, Judy? Well, I don't know. Okay, so let me go rinse this off and put that in the pot. So anytime you're using new foods like amaranth, you just have to give it some time to figure out how it works, right?
I don't know.
So I'm going to put a little bit of this seaweed in there. I don't, right? I don't think that's too much. It's pretty tasty.
We're human, you know, it's a reaction.
Yeah.
We didn't know what, just like we didn't know what to, we didn't know
Just
what
put that
to
in
do.
there. Right?
And when you
You
say
know?
you ran, you're talking about when you fled from New Hampshire last
And
week.
I tasted it so
Texas
far.
already realized.
Now,
we know
I
that
took
this
the lid
little
off
boy in
because
the
it's
photos
too much
is likely
water.
dead. At one point, Danielle talks
Right, so
about
I'm gonna
Elijah
just
doing things
let it
to
boil
harm
down for a
himself.
while.
So he'd be poking himself with a tax.
Just a little bit, not too
And
long.
what other self-harming behaviors would he do?
He would scratch his
Because I
throat.
wanted to, you know,
Like
you got to get
his
that
dad,
texture,
like,
right?
The first time I FaceTimed him, he had scratches on him. Like, what happened to your throat, buddy? And
In terms
like,
of taste?
Tim did not tell me any of his behaviors before I took on him. If I knew all these behaviors, I would have made sure I had stuff lined up for him to, you know, I'm not gonna take on a child that has.
We wanna make
mental
it
health issues
tasty.
And not have anything for him, you know? It does
So,
not make logical sense.
We're just
And
going to
he
use a
said-
bit more of
he said he
this.
might be autistic.
Okay.
And this is not autistic. I have an autistic
It's a
nephew
fair amount
who's,
in terms of the pot's getting higher and higher and higher, right?
he would sit there and bite his arms. He would. I don't know what
But
he
the
did.
goal is to give them bigger meals with more nutrition in it.
Like, doing weird stuff. Like, I just didn't like, I couldn't, I needed him out of my house. I needed him out to get help. Not that I didn't
Yeah.
love him and want him. I
And
loved
then
him.
with
I
some
loved
yogurt,
him so
that
much.
will be good.
I just needed him
And
to
when
get
I do
help.
this,
And I was just
we'll just
watching
add
him
a little bit
suffer, and
more.
I couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? I couldn't do nothing.
and when I do this,
Danielle begins to reveal some things.
without that
add some
there,
background
I
to
should
her
do
story.
two at the same
I was
time.
depressed.
That's why I want to get that 10-inch enamel cast iron.
Never left the house with.
And then of course I've got the other, right, but those are different, you know. Honestly, I wouldn't mind having a hot plate.
Hansel was able to win any competition.
I have hot
she took
plates,
part in.
right?
She was
I
known
kind
as
of
the
want a hot
contestant
plate
because she had won
so I can
7
have something
trips to
cooking over
Paris,
here.
boats,
if I want.
houses. She
I
would
mean, I
basically
could,
take
I suppose
part
I
in
could
any
use a
sweepstakes.
crock
She
pot.
read about any contest, and she
I want
could
a better
choose any.
kitchen.
That made my
And I want my
documentary
eyesight
and
back.
I asked Helen,
But I know I'll
"How do
never
you do
get
that?"
either or.
And she spoke
And
about
even
this
if I
thing
did get a
called
bigger
the Silva
kitchen,
technique.
by the time I
Helen
ever get it,
was Jose Silva's former
I probably
PR
won't even be
manager.
able to see.
She had the benefit of learning closely from that
No.
man. Now, Jose Silva was a
Probably
radio
not.
cameraman who lived in the border town of Laredo, Texas, in the 1940s. He had 10 kids.
So I'm tired now. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Now, Jose Silva had a crazy idea.
And it's already
You see, he had
7:30 and
served in
I've
the US
basically
Army,
been on my
and
feet
he was
pretty much all day,
fascinated
so
by
I'm
the
glad I slept at the
psychological
hospital.
questions that the Army psychologist would ask new recruits. So he decided
Because
to
I'm
look at
tired,
psychology and then look
but
at what he knew
not
about radio
real
repair
tired.
and figure out
So it's
how
mild,
he could change the mindset and the
but it's
brains
tasty.
of his kids so they could do better in school. As a radio
Yeah,
repairman, he knew
it's
that if
actually
he
very
reduced the
tasty.
resistance of a wire,
It's good.
more electricity flows through it. So he wondered,
I just don't
what
want
could
it
I do
runny.
to reduce the resistance in the human
So
mind? He decided to
patience,
experiment
this
with
is where
reducing
patience
any
is
form
a
of
virtue.
resistance in his children's
You just
brain.
gotta
He
simmer it down a
experimented
little
with
bit more,
fire.
Judy.
He
You know, just
experimented with hypnosis, and sure enough, his children's grades started improving at school. But then
I mean,
something
I could put an
astonishing
egg in there.
He was sitting down with his daughter Isabel.
We'll
reading
we'll
a history book and
we'll
asking
try that
Isabel
little pan with
questions.
an egg,
So he would
something.
guide Isabel into
Egg
a
souffle
restful state of being.
with butter
She would have her
and
eyes
milk
closed.
and
he would read her the important dates.
maybe
She would be able to
breadcrumbs.
absorb
There's
that,
an
and
idea.
then he would
I
ask her
found
questions,
breadcrumbs in this
but
bag.
something strange started happening.
Yeah, I'm gonna cook them up
Isabel
with breadcrumbs.
was able to answer a question before he
cheese.
verbally spoke it. Now let me explain this. He would think of the question in his head. The question
I'm
such
put
as
it
who
in
is the
here
16th
after I
president
blend it
of the
up.
United States.
As a matter of
Before
fact, I
he
can get the
verbally
blender
said,
ready
Isabel
now.
would answer the question, Abraham Lincoln. Jose Silva was mind blown. And so he wrote
That's why
to
I bought the
Professor
glass
J.B.
one.
Ryan at Duke
I like
University.
glass.
J.B.
I've got
Ryan
my
was
old
famous
school
for his
blender here.
research
And
into a
probably
concept
better.
called ESP,
You know what?
extrasensory
Just to keep it
perception.
simple on
And
myself,
Silva
why don't we
told
use the old
Ryan,
school one?
Doctor, I think I trained my daughter to have ESP.
That one's over
J.B.
there. I don't
Ryan
wanna deal
replied
with
back in a letter and said, no, that's
I like
absolutely
these
not true.
old school ones.
No one can be trained to have this. Your daughter must have been born with it. Jose Silva disagreed. So he continued training the rest of his kids to develop a high degree of intuition. So now over the next 10 years, Jose Silva trained 39 Laredo children on this approach. He documented the results. He made everything hyper precise,
this
and
one.
he proved J.B. Ryan wrong. This was a trainable skill. But then adults started noticing.
It can
And
stir,
adults started
it can
coming to
puree,
visit Laredo, Texas, to
it
get
can
trained.
grate, it
Jose
can
Silva
mix,
decided
it
to
can
call his
chop,
approach
it can
the
blend,
Silva
and it can
Mind
liquefy.
Control Method. And what happened next was astonishing. A man wrote in a newspaper how after learning
funny how
Silva's
you go
method, he was able to
with the
cure
older-
his persistent
older
migraine
ones, eh?
headaches for good. The
We
migraines
got a
just
new.
disappeared.
I find the new one.
The
I don't
next
know. I don't
class,
like the new
Jose
one.
wrote in his
It doesn't
autobiography,
have the
was
same kind of features as the old
absolutely
one.
flooded by people.
No.
And the Silva Mind
And these
Control
old
method
ones, the
ended
motors
up
are so much
expanding
better.
all across the United States.
Oh, wait till
So here's
wait
what
till we
Jose
get
Silva
into the
discovered
food
as the
mill.
root
Oh
cause
man,
of all our
this food mill
problems. We
sitting in a
are
box,
beings.
as if I
But
got this
from
thing
the
is an
time we are
albatross. It's
born,
huge.
from the
The box is
education
so
system
big.
we grow up in, from our parents and caretakers who make us know better.
I don't know where I'm gonna
So
put it.
much
I think I'm gonna have to
programming.
move all this.
We actually suppress our
Put it right
human
here.
abilities. There was a
But
famous study
where am I gonna
that
blend it
showed
in?
that all children
Probably too big
under
for the
age of
counter.
4
I don't know.
are naturally hyper creative and genius.
That's what I mean. I need a functioning kitchen. You need a functioning kitchen for Amari, and you need a second fridge just for his shit, right? Drinks and snacks and multiple meals
The
and
solution Jose Silva discovered
it's like an
is
assembly
the act
line.
of being able to consciously access altered states
right. Come on,
of
come on. You're
consciousness.
taking too
What is
long,
an altered
man.
state of consciousness? Well,
I'm tired.
our
Okay, yeah,
consciousness
now it's
actually
thickening up.
operates at
I can
different
see that.
frequencies. You can measure this using a
see it
scientific
starting
device
to
called
thicken up.
EEG machine. There is a frequency called beta, which is the waking state
That's all
frequency.
right. I'll show you.
Most of us are in beta as we go through our
tasty.
thoughts. But when you get into a relaxed state of mind, you go into a hyper-creative state called alpha. Alpha is known for creativity, for problem solving, for accelerated healing. Meditators.
So
Going to alpha is called
why I'm infatuated with these little frying pans, I don't know.
before they just
I mean, like, I have a cast iron that's a 3.5, but that's big. You need counter space. As if I got counter space, right? And when you do stuff like that, it makes it even worse.
to access the next stage, which is called
But
theta.
that's okay. Some space is better than no space. So what do you think? Do you think that will probably, by the time, so now that, okay, so now in this situation, the Amaranth, if it's, you know, it's still going to absorb liquid as it, because you can use it as a thickening agent. That's what I used it for. Although it's very, 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 very nutritional. So before I put it into the pan, or into the blender, which should be more than enough to hold what I just made. Oh, that's another thing you need to factor in when you make these things, right?
Because Edison was dipping into the theta level. The theta level is the level of
So I'm going to let that cool.
And he was dipping into it to get
I want to taste it one more time.
He wasn't the only one.
If you don't like it, then how can you expect him to like it, right?
Would create some of the most incredible patents and trademarks. He had dozens of them. But his method was to go into theta by locking himself in his darkened basement, closing all the lights, sitting on his desk, and going into a deep state of relaxation where ideas and eureka moments would flow to him. Now, while theta is the waking frequency, all of us can learn to tap into alpha and theta.
It's bursting of different kind of flavors.
Delta. Delta is the level.
And the Amaranth is so tiny, it's a seed, right?
Silva found that you can learn to program your mind just before going to sleep and have your mind.
It has an
solve
earthy
problems
flavor.
for you
I can taste
while
it.
At Delta, scientists who study Delta
I can bite it with my teeth. But they're very, very tiny, so just let it sit and cool, and by the time it cools, it will probably absorb more liquid. It's probably, think of a chia seed, right? A chia seed will swell as it absorbs more water.
Who are trained to access Delta.
I think it's the same thing with this.
Jose Silva went on to create this incredible movement called the Silva Mind Control Movement. It was one of the first personal.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the glass lid on there.
Book, the Silva Mind Control Method, sold millions upon millions.
Now I'm going to let it sit for about 10-15 minutes.
From opera singer Margareta
I'll get it together. It won't be long before I have a routine, and I'll start writing down and figuring out the calorie count. And I would think there's a fair amount of calories in it with the, well, not really. Well,
and then he created techniques to amplify focus,
I'd say
and intuition.
a third cup of barley, maybe a quarter cup of barley. I didn't measure it out, people. I just put it in that little strainer. So I figured between a quarter to a third cup of barley, a third cup to a quarter cup of red lentils. Same thing with the Amaranth. That's where you're getting your calories, right? And then obviously we had the turkey, which was probably about maybe 250 grams, well, 200 grams, we'll just say 200 grams there, probably, right, because, you know, that's a 250 ml size jar, right, and so I don't know what the calorie count would be on that, and then, of course, you're not going to get any, you're not really going to get any calories in with the sweet, well, actually, sweet potato, you get a little bit more than the carrot.
It's something so simple. Stress was just one aspect.
And then you add the yogurt, and
the class, they were learning.
It'll be good.
Intuition,
so at least I
meditation and to manifest their future.
I like that little frying pan. I do.
To invent new products.
I just have to learn how to work with it. Okay, I got to rest for a minute. I can't believe I've been up since 4 and it's going on 8 o'clock. Now I'm not canning no more tonight. That's enough for tonight. I have to wash things now and take, oh yeah, I have to do this. I gotta, now I have to, after this, I have to clear off this counter, and then I gotta take these jars out and put them here. I already washed those ones, so the next time when I get up, I'm gonna rest pretty soon. I haven't eaten all day, so I don't know.
Suggested she try the Silva method because all the diets she tried had failed.
You'll label those,
get
them off the counter, because these ones will be here, and then I'll have to move them over there, wash them, put them back there, to put them away, to start the process again tomorrow with the rest of the kale and the marrow that's outside growing, and then the raspberries. As the raspberries are coming in, I do plan on canning them. I do. I got quart-sized jars. I'm going to can them just whole. It's really good in a get a few jars anyway. In a medium syrup or a light syrup, one or the other. We're living on the farms, okay? I got that turkey from 2023.
Are you ready for this? Because this is
and
the
it's good.
craziest story of all. You see this?
Yeah.
This is the cover of
I'm looking
Time
forward to
magazine,
doing this.
And on this cover, you see the author